And we are recording and we're live at Commsverse 2025. You did such a great intro last time, I'm going to let you do it again now.
Hello everyone, welcome to Commsverse 2025.
So here we are. We're at Commsverse, say hi to the camera, that's where everybody is. We've got guests as always, and I'm looking at the name because I forgot. Chloe is here.
This is me.
Hey, she's cool. Anouk is here.
Yes, again.
Are you going to ask more questions this time? You were very silent last time.
She got a coffee now, so...
I got coffee, so I'm getting awake now.
Alright, that's good.
Coffee
Great,
and
you
sweeties.
were brilliant last time.
I'm always brilliant.
I know you are.
Yes.
Now for the compliment back.
Oh.
Steve, you did such an amazing job setting
Thank
everything
you.
up. We only have sound issues and we can't live stream, but next to that, you did an amazing job.
Fixing the lights when they turned off.
Yes, you did. Yes.
I did. I could put batteries in.
I was just briefly looking at the recording from the last hour, and I have to say it looks really good. So well
Quality-wise,
done.
it's good,
Well
yes.
done.
Just that stupid delay in the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So let's get cracking. Hello.
Cool.
Hello.
Chloe M.
That's me. Unusual last name.
It is. Is it
Oh.
yours or a husband's?
It's mine.
So you.
Well, my family's, but yeah.
Your family. Does it go back a long way?
Well, there is a theory actually that it was originally a longer surname and got shortened down because there's. So it's a bit geeky, but I went to the the Science Museum in London a little while ago and searched on it, and there's actually not many M's at all, and all the ones that do exist are pretty much just in the UK.
So I can already envision how that went when people were lining up to say, what is your last name? So somebody will say, oh, my name is Dolby, my name is Fierens, my name is Somers. Oh, what's your last name?
Yeah, that's
okay.
what I was going. But you've never heard that before, have you? That's
My
dead
PE
original.
teacher was the first person to ever make that joke.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry about that.
First person. So what number is Moraine?
No, I would still say you're probably in like the about 10th person, so still
There
pretty
you go,
original
10th
considering a
is not
lifetime
bad.
of.
I like to be in your top 10. That's a good
Absolutely.
place to be. Okay.
I'm
Smooth.
sure. Alrighty, so the boys are back in town. Hey guys, how you doing? They're all there to take photographs. All colleagues are just pointing at staff. Yes,
Yes.
you are live. We can embrace them.
Kevin made some really obnoxious jokes in the chat earlier. Kevin made some really obnoxious jokes in the chat earlier. So, dear 8 billion people of the world, let's no, let's not read that out loud. No. So,
There we go.
So anyway, hi guys, bye guys, we're working.
This is Kevin. It's going now. Alright, cool. So we can put that back again now. I don't know whether they'll come back at some point.
While they are fixing that, tell us something about Oak Innovations. What are you guys doing?
So we, if you have worked in voice in the last 30 years, you will have probably come across us. We've been around for ages. 37 years we've been around as a business, or maybe 38 now. So we originally started with things like voicemail, reporting, we did some CRM, and we've done recording for a while, but now our focus really is in the recording space, and specifically in the Teams recording space. So I've been at Oak for 18 years. I started when I was a child, obviously.
I was just gonna say exactly. Yes.
Yeah, never miss a chance to compliment a woman.
Thank you very much. But a lot of the other stuff at Oak have been there even longer. We're and it sounds a bit cheesy, but we're a really lovely company to work with and work for. So from a relationship perspective, it's lovely because it means that usually if you have a contact at Oak today, they'll still be there in 10 years' time, and over that time we've just built some really great relationships. So I walk around today and it's so lovely because there's so many familiar faces. But besides that, not only do we have a lovely team, lovely company, we have a brilliant product. So we, like I say, do a SaaS call recording solution for Teams. We're one of there's about a dozen Microsoft certified call recording team solutions. So you can find us listed on the website, and that's what we're promoting today.
Very nice. So is it one product or a range of products or services?
So it's one product, but it's got where it's an ever-expanding solution that we're adding things to all the time. So it starts off obviously as the certified recording solution, but then we've got APIs, so you can do integration with those. So in fact, there's quite a few companies here today that we integrate with. So we integrate with Ultigen and Teleware and Roger365, and we also have a really great relationship with Akixi, who are here too. So you can play our recording via their reporting solutions. But then we also have been enhancing the solution. So we're very shortly going to be releasing an integration with Azure AI. So I know. Ooh,
Oh, sorry. Do I need to go? Ooh?
Yes.
Okay.
So I believe we are the first Microsoft certified recording solution to do this integration, which is really cool because obviously everyone's super buzzed about AI.
Never heard of it.
But a lot of them will use some sort of third party, and we do offer integration with other third parties, but we really wanted to do an integration that kept everything within the Microsoft ecosystem. So not only does it tick that box, and people like that anyway, but from a security perspective that's great because you're not then potentially sending your recording off to a third party to be analysed. It stays within that environment. So we're hoping that should be great. But one of the other reasons we did it is, like I say, we have got other AI integrations out there, but it's always been at a potentially problematic price point. So we'll get lots of these opportunities, they'll get priced up, and they just get priced out of the market. So what we really wanted to do is we wanted to offer a solution, an entry-level solution that's still super secure, because, Microsoft, but at a price point that's really affordable, because we were having so many opportunities where people would say, I don't need to have a full-blown contact center AI every bell and whistle solution, which we are working towards as well, which will have an appropriate price point at that. But we also just want to have this entry-level transcription, keyword etching, key phrase etching, summarization, maybe a bit of sentiment at a price point that works for all businesses.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because everyone says, oh yeah, we're integrating AI, but okay, what does it do? But for you, it actually looks at the recording that you create, and then it gets valuable
insights. Yeah, exactly. So
more analytics.
Yes.
AI analytics.
all the buzzwords.
Yeah, we can do buzzwords. We should play buzzword bingo, shouldn't we?
Yeah. By the last session we will do that.
Yes.
We will ask
buzzword bingo.
When somebody that was here the 2 days, give us all the buzzwords.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. Buzzword bingo.
Or a word you're not allowed to say, and then anyone.
No, that's bullshit bingo. Yes, another one.
Oh. You are speaking to those two, so every word is allowed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you catch on our podcast, sometimes it becomes a little X-rated.
It might be a little immature sometimes. Yeah, I get it.
You speak for yourself. I'm always immature. There's no might about me.
Sure.
Really?
Nobody really wants to grow up, do they?
Why?
No.
Yeah, exactly. Elton's boring.
No, we're just two Peter Pans here.
Yes, I'm Peter and he's Pan.
Exactly. Okay. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so back to Oak. So how many people are working there right now?
Yeah, so we're not a huge company. There's only about 30 of us. So it's an interesting story. So like I say, we've been around forever. So there used to be about 60 of us, and we were really strong in the SME market for on-prem solutions. So your Avayas, your Mitels, your Siemens, and then became Unifies, Samsungs, all those sorts of solutions.
All the big taping machines.
All of those. Well, yeah, exactly. And we did really, really well in that space. But then obviously everything started moving over to hosted. And so we shrank. We knew we needed to move out of CapEx and go into OpEx. So we started doing that, and that's really been our focus now for the last few years. There was a bit of a killer time, obviously, over Teams, where suddenly we no longer were having a nice slow drop in CapEx as a nice slow rise into OpEx, and instead CapEx just fell out, didn't it, because of Teams. Because of COVID.
Yes.
But luckily we had this team solution that's basically saved our bacon, if I'm being totally upfront. And
nice.
it's been brilliant for us. I would say that the majority, at least in the UK, of voice resellers or the channel will have some level of relationship with us from the team's recording perspective. One of the reasons being is we come in at a really attractive price point. So I know a lot of people, that is valuable. But it's actually a really brilliant solution as well. We tick all the compliance boxes. and we're forever adding, and it is our focus solution, right? So we're constantly working on it, and because we are not huge, we can be really agile. So we actually try and only really focus on a development about 3 to 6 months in advance. So we are constantly evaluating the market to make sure that what we're doing is what people actually want.
How many customers do you have now then?
So we've got about 30,000 businesses that use our solutions.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, so it's about the same size as we have.
For our podcast. Okay.
But it's, so like I say, we went from about 60 down to 30, but now we're growing again. So it's just, like I say, like it's, I mean, so I'm a family business, so there's me and my dad and my brother and my sister all in the business as well. So my heart's in the company. So it's really been lovely for us going from, like I say, being larger, shrinking, and then having this, this Hail Mary that's allowed us to grow and reestablish those relationships in the market.
All right, so for the people that are listening right now, what kind of roles are you looking for?
So mainly we're in development, I think, is where our focus is at the moment.
Techies.
Yeah, techies, we love you, we need you. So at the moment we actually have an online list where all of our partners can actually go in, they can request features and then they get voted. So the more your feature gets voted, the higher you're going to go up on our development list.
Well, it's like a user voice thing.
Exactly, because I see it in the market that sometimes a product can be so developer-led that you lose sight. That there can be this detach from the consumer to the people actually who are creating the product, and we really don't want that. We want to make sure that we're getting that information from the end user consumer via our partners directly to us, so we're making sure we're giving people what they really want rather than what we think they want.
And so the role of growth director?
Yeah, that's me.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that just another name for sales director, or is that?
New business director?
Yeah, so I think like my skill set would probably be around establishing new relationships. So whether that be product relationships, so like I say, with like Roger365, with Kixi, Oxygen, etc. So establishing those relationships, or going out and finding new partners and setting up those conversations from there. So that's probably where my skill lies, which is why it's around growth.
So Roger is actually coming up next, so we can double check what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely. Good bunch.
They are actually standing there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, there they are.
Okay.
Talking about you.
All right.
5 minutes, guys. We'll be 5 minutes, and then you'll be on.
Yeah. We're only saying nice things. You're okay. We're just talking about you. Specific, not the company, just you. Only good things.
Yeah.
Brilliant product, brilliant guys. Just saying.
We'll be about 5 minutes, guys, all right? And then we'll be over to you.
Look at them all, keen beans.
Yes, I know. I'm good fun because I can hear myself, but they obviously can't hear a word I'm saying.
No. It's too loud in here. Yeah.
It is, yes. So glad we put the headphones on this year.
Excellent.
Cool. So ask a question, little one. Little quiet one. Or she's going to slap me later. I can just...
You're in trouble. I can see it.
No.
Ask something meaningful that she's never been asked before.
Yes. No pressure.
Oh, no pressure at all. So why did Oak said we are going to go to conferences, we want our product to be out there?
Because in my opinion, this is definitely the main Microsoft event. Sorry, getting close to the microphone. The main Microsoft event in the UK, isn't it? Really. I know there are some other ones, and I'm sure they're also really good. But this, you can tell by being here that this is the Microsoft event to come to.
Yeah, and the UK is your main market. So.
Yeah, well, that's interesting actually. So again, historically, this is another reason how we're growing. Why we're growing is we've historically been very UK based, but because you can find us via the Microsoft website now, it's global, and we have some slightly unique things about us as a business in terms of our deployment. So we can store the recordings anywhere in the world as long as they've got an Azure location. So some of our competitors are limited by they only store in their preferred
own data
choice
centers,
place. Whereas we can store it for them on their behalf anywhere in the world as long as there's Azure, or we can even use their own blob storage. So sorry, this is getting a bit boring and technical, but
people like technical. Technical's good, especially when you say the word blob.
Yeah.
There's no more technical word in the world, is there?
That's maybe also a marine standard.
Blob.
Yes.
No, I was thinking the only thing that would sound more techie is string, and that might be on my Tinder.
String theory. We can talk about string theory if you want.
Nice. He's good.
I like to put it more into practice and not into
Okay.
But yeah, so we can use the customer's own blob storage, which is a really great way of potentially getting around data sovereignty. So with traditional call recording, if you were using, if you were going to put the recording, archive it to a preferred location, you would normally capture it where the call recorder is and then archive. That's not the way it works with Microsoft. So the call recording goes directly into wherever you're storing it. So if we are using the customer's blob storage, the recordings go directly into their environment, even though it's still a SaaS solution. So it's a great way of getting around that data sovereignty without having to have a single instance deployment.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
I got a last question. Unless somebody else wants to drop in first.
I could go with like a million follow-up questions. Yeah.
Really? Okay. Number one is?
So is your solution actually inside Teams, or is that a separate solution?
So we use the Microsoft Compliant Recording Graph API, so it is integrated directly with the tenant. So again, from a compliance recording perspective, using from the Microsoft list, they'll all do it that way. There are other ways of recording Teams, so you can do it via direct routing, but in that case, you're not tapping directly off the tenant, so you're limited then to that direct routing solution, whereas the way we do it, because we tap directly off the tenant, is completely agnostic. You can use any operator connect, any direct routing, any contact center, and we're going to capture everything, and not just the PSTN calls, but we also capture the Teams-to-Teams calls, the meetings, the video, the screen sharing. But we have rules, so if you don't want to record certain call types, like internal calls, we can turn that off.
But it also means it's completely compliant, so 100%. It's not going anywhere else.
Yeah, so FCA, MiFID II, Dodd-Frank in the US, HIPAA for healthcare in the US. We're seeing back to the global deployment question as well. We're seeing a massive uptake in obviously in Europe with the Roger guys, in the US.
We're not in Europe now, by the way. We're in the UK.
yeah. So we stay away from that subject, maybe political. If we're now have deployments and customers in every continent except the ones with penguins.
Cool. Except the one with penguins.
The one with penguins.
I love that.
Penguins don't care about call recording, sadly.
No, I get that. Nice one. Yes, so the last question I thought was really cool, and you did talk about Agile in your list of changes being driven by the users.
Yeah.
What are the new features we can expect from Oak this year? Your marketing people said to ask.
Thanks, marketing people. Excellent job. So as I say, we're about 3 weeks away from releasing this Azure AI integration, which is really exciting for us. That's like our big next step. So like I say, that'll be your transcription, keyword searching, key phrase searching, sentiment, script analysis, making sure that you can summarize the call. But we're also going to be doing a Cisco and WebEx integration. We're about 3 months away from that. And we're doing that because we've seen there's a crossover in, especially in the finance sector, where they'll have both Teams and Cisco deployments. So they want one recorder for both. So that's really exciting for us, and we're also developing an ingestion solution. So where we've seen
you eat your own recording, so nobody else can ever get to it.
That's it. You just go through the stomach. So it basically means that so in MiFID II, for example, you have to keep calls for 7 years.
Yes.
And also there's a lot of consolidation going on in the finance sector. So you're getting these big finance companies buying other finance companies with loads of other call recorders, and they don't want to have to pay to keep these call recorders online for 7 years. So we're doing an ingestion solution, which means you can take the recordings from all these different legacy call recorders, put them to Clarify Go and have one place. Yeah. So not only is it a better solution, but it actually is saving you money long term as well.
Excellent. Well, Chloe, I think you've been a star.
Oh, thank you. You guys are wonderful.
Yeah, I think we got one last question for the attendees running around here.
Yeah.
What kind of swag do you have on the stand?
What kind of swag? Yeah. So this time it's not very exciting, I'm afraid. It is just brochures. However, we've got a plan for next time. We're going to do, and actually I would like some feedback on this. So I wanted to put together some relaxation packs. So it'd be like a goodie bag of things that will help you relax. So like candles, like goodie toiletries, blah, blah, blah. But there was controversy over whether that would be successful, as it's so male-dominated here. But I like the slogan, relax, you're safe with Oak recording.
You want to say, relaxed man.
Yeah.
You're cool with it recording, and then it's completely open.
Exactly. So if people think that's a good idea for next time,
No,
let me know,
I don't
and we'll get those bags ready
actually.
for you.
I don't mind. I
So
mean,
let's
after
take-
You need her.
after the whole day, I mean, I need to wind
Yeah,
down. So
yeah.
in the hotel,
Zen.
I've got a nice bathtub, so I can put some candles in there.
Exactly.
Put some
Modern
a fire hazard going, and yeah.
That's
All right,
right.
maybe
Cool.
that's right, maybe it's not. We shall see. We shall see. All right, good. Thank you very much
Amazing.
for being there. We're going to go and talk to Roger IO now.
Lovely, guys.
So yes,
Thank
we'll
you.
close down.
Thank you so much.
Thank
very
you.
much for your time. Thank you.
Oh, that was quite good. You're very welcome. Good. Yes, all right. See you later. I'll let you take your leaflets down so that Roger doesn't complain that we're branding them correctly. Neat. Okay, we have a 2 again.
Aha.
Oh, why do we have 2? These people are hijacking our microphones.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty. Good.
Hey.
Can you adjust the microphone a nook, please? Can you just
Like this?
As you're doing it. Oh, it's actually moving. It'll fall over unless it's tight, but that's good.
Yeah,
Gentlemen, how are we doing?
you're
One
doing
of you
just
must
great.
be Fabian.
No.
None of you
Fabian
must be
actually
Fabian.
didn't
Well-
appear. We had him on last year, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so
And we had him
neither
in one
of
of
you is
the-
Fabian. So it's not Fabian
No.
1 and not Fabian 2.
No,
unfortunately
No,
not.
due to personal circumstances, he could not make it
You didn't
to the
fire
event,
him or
so
something?
he stayed at home.
You fired him, didn't you? You
No,
went,
no.
I want my 15 minutes of fame,
Yeah.
so Fabian
No.
goes.
No, it's actually something more severe, but it's,
Oh, I
it's
appreciate
emotional.
it.
So
Joking
it's an
aside.
illness of his family member. So,
Ah, poor lad.
so.
But I hear that we got a Dutch guy anyway.
Patrick.
Oh, that's a
Patrick
very bad
Scherback.
name.
Patrick,
Yeah.
the Dutch guy.
Yeah.
Awesome. Patrick. Cool. And we have Michael.
Yeah.
Brugge.
Brugge.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Yeah, okay. So also a Dutch guy.
Also Dutch.
Oh,
yeah.
cool. Nice.
So is Roger based in the Netherlands?
Yep.
Did I
Delft.
not know that?
Yeah, they kind of told us last year. Yeah.
Okay, it's been a long
But
time.
we talked to so many people. So.
We do, yes.
So do tell us what do you guys do? I mean, as a company, what does Roger do?
Roger365 is a omni-channel contact center within Teams. So we improve customer contact, and it happens all inside Teams.
All right, cool. So I think we had this conversation last year as well. So explain this to me like I'm 5.
Actually, he didn't work last year. You better explain to him like he was 3.
So you didn't listen last year, and you want to know.
No, but I mean, every time so for me personally, I'm working in the collaboration space. So I'm using Teams mainly for collaboration, for chats.
Internally.
As a consultant, I'm using SharePoint, these things. So the whole calling world is pretty not very well known to me. So we got people here and they talk about call analytics and all these things, and I'm like, oh, that's super cool, but what is it? What does it do? How does that look for me as a company? Why do I need your solution?
I think because Michael is actually the technical, this really smart guy, and I'm sort of the commercial dumb guy who goes along with it. So I can
Yeah, we got
probably-
that as well.
Yeah.
We're the dumb guys.
I can probably
And
explain
dumb.
it like we're 5, but it all starts with obviously that every company needs a phone solution to just keep in touch with clients, with partners, with employees, with everything in your ecosystem. You can implement a separate phone system with a separate user interface, with a separate management console, with separate security, compliance, governance, everything around
So a
it.
lot of things to set up. Yeah.
Or you can choose to just do it in Teams and activate it from there. And
Because
then
you
have
already
it-
used it internally. to
Exactly,
collaborate
you
with
already got
colleagues.
your users, you got your accounts, you got everything set up,
Yeah.
you got your user interface.
Yeah, and then you have the advantages that the platform brings. So you can connect almost these days any provider that you want, either over a direct connection or an operator connect. So that's the type of connection where you get your numbers and your integration with the Gammas and the global PSTN network.
Yeah.
And then On the other hand, it works on every application, so it works on mobile with the client, with everywhere that the Teams client works, the calling works. So in a web browser, on a Mac, on Windows, on iOS, Android.
Yeah. So you're piggybacking on that solution, on that platform.
And around that you have a complete, enormous ecosystem. You also see that here on the venue with an enormous amount of supplies with all kinds of third-party integrations, mics, headsets, phones, rooms, whatever, everything is integrated and you can pick and choose whatever you like.
Awesome. So
that's the basics.
Where do you guys then come in? What is the problem that you're solving?
And I think to really simple, and I think after that Michael can go into somewhat more details. Let's think of you are a customer of a coffee machine, and your coffee machine breaks down. What's the first thing you'll do? You want to contact Nespresso or whatever coffee machine, Philips or whatever.
We now know what coffee machine you have, so that's fine.
So you go to probably Google. You Google, I have a problem with my XYZ, and you see what kind of support options there are. Well, then you probably will be redirected to frequently asked questions. We all hate that. So eventually, you want to have somebody on a communication channel, and I think that really depends on what age and what type of user you are. So if you are really young,
use chat, or if you don't
want to call, you probably want to do WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or SMS or whatever. But if it's more complex, or you're a little bit older, or you just prefer calling, you want to call. And ideally, you don't want to have an interactive voice response of all types of fancy options. You just want to talk to somebody who's going to fix your problem. And I think somewhere in between is Roger365. So between that customer who's trying to seek contract, to sell or to solve a problem, or to buy something or to solve a problem, and the employee internally. And we can do lots of really complex things to which the customer doesn't know anything about. He just knows that he has directly the right person over the channel that he prefers to talk about his problem or buy something. That's
what you do.
Without the really technical stuff.
So that's a 10,000 feet view then, so we get that, Michael, but I'm guessing what you actually have is MS Teams to receive all the communications with lots of APIs and connections to data services.
Yeah, and more. So indeed we use Teams as an end user client for audio, but we also bring in some social interactions. So you could get a WhatsApp in your Teams client because it's coming from the contact center, or web chat. So it's more an omni-channel approach, and I think that what our use case or the USPs are is that we make it smarter. So we route customer contacts smarter in a contact center to the agent. I think faster. So you get a first-time resolution faster because a customer can choose between their preferred way of interacting. But you can also utilize AI in there to get those common questions answered quickly because you don't need a live agent. And improve entire business processes. So the repetitive tasks that an agent does, like summarization, updating CRM, you can automate that entirely.
To add to that, a really simple explanation of what Michael was just telling about. He has a demo where actually the coffee machine scenario plays out, and then a customer says, I have a problem with my coffee machine, it doesn't work, and then the first thing the employee asks is, what type is it? And I don't know, because I just bought a coffee machine. I only know the brand.
It's a black one.
So what you can ask as an agent, just make a photo and WhatsApp the photo to the company, and an AI algorithm will look at the picture and says, okay, it's a coffee machine of that and that type.
6521. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it even suggests a resolution. So because the AI model is trained on a specific topic, and it knows the type of coffee machine, and if your issue is in the picture, it can already advise on next steps for a customer.
Yeah. So we can actually see that the front is cracked or something.
Something like that, or something maybe like fill the water tank because it's not put in there correctly.
It's
something
not just
like
about
that.
what it looks like, I guess. It's also you've got a history of all the other reported faults and the regular things that go wrong.
Yeah.
So if they text in, hey, my coffee machine won't turn on anymore, then you've got the ones that this is the first answer that everybody gets. So sometimes I guess you don't even need a human, you just get response back, say, hey, try this, and you get that by WhatsApp. It's pretty cool,
but it's still it's the preferred way of a customer, because some customers like to work in that way with AI and get chatbot replies, but there are also customers that would like a more personal approach.
Yeah.
And that's still possible because you have the live agent, of course, but they get supported by AI. So that agent can really focus on the customer, on their topic, and don't need to write down the summarization because I need to enter that after the call in the CRM system. So that's being taken care of automatically. So, gotcha.
Do you actually need to have intelligent operators to answer the calls then, or does it?
No, it's all inside.
Get more people,
less and less
people rather than engineering people.
So that's also an advantage. If you're looking at replacing people on your contact center or working them in or whatever.
You don't have to get a specific.
It's they get so much help. One of the applications that we've built is Agent Assist. To see when did anybody contact, over which channel, what was spoken about, and all kinds of advice during the call you get from that Agent Assist application within the environment. So you can just go and sit there and actually with less and less help, you can serve the customer.
Yeah. And so we got you guys last year here as well. So is this something that you've added the last year, or what are other new things that you?
There are some new things like agentic AI is a big thing right now, of course. So it's all about business processes that are done automatically by AI agents. So that's being implemented in our platform. But all the other AI stuff, that was already there. But it's getting more and more.
It's getting better.
It's getting really better. Yeah. So you could really utilize that. And I always say to customers that to start small, we call it the +1 mindset. Just make little tweaks in your call routing or message routing. Test that, learn from it by getting insights.
Yes.
And if it works, keep it there and just move on to the next. And it could be small things like a personal greeting. For example, I think everyone has ever called a contact center where you get a generic audio prompt saying welcome at this store. But what if you get an audio prompt saying, hi Patrick, welcome to Roger365?
That freak me out.
It would freak me out as well, yeah.
I think this actually is what is actually more or less, a frustration of ours, whatever. It seems that everybody always wants to talk about the latest and greatest, the newest technology, and they are always asking for feature updates and whatever. But if we can measure what people are using, and if we are looking at our base, so many people are using so less functionality. So I used to have a system integrator which implemented these systems, and it was always a hassle. You work towards a migration point, a replacement, and then you think of all these use cases and you think, oh, I can earn this and I can serve my customer better and whatever. But then at the same time, you think, well, this is maybe a big step for the organization, but because the people also have to learn what's going on. So just migrate with what we had +1, and then you had the first migration, and then it stops. And I think our customers, and that's in the first place, our partners need to find a way to work with the end customer to get this flow ongoing and really and work towards maybe within a year or 2 year agentic AI first line, all autonomous, whatever. But there is still so much to productivity to gain and customer experience and also employee experience. They have to.
Yeah, because they need to work with the solutions.
Yeah, of course. And also, happy teams creates happy customer, right?
Oh wow, he's got to get the tagline in.
I love that. Let me write that down.
I've heard that before. But no, I get that. I do understand. But I guess that also means that customers stay with you a long time, and because they see an increase in value. But I also guess that means you have quite a wide-ranging way of funding and paying for these services. So. Because I'm not going to pay a full price, but then only do my +1 and then maybe my +1 another few months down the line. So how does that kind of actually pan out?
I think we
I'm not asking for numbers, but it's an interesting pricing model.
We call it a forward thinking pricing model, but I think we are priced quite differently in the market. some sort of maybe aggressive and taking away all these obstacles to use new functionality. We are not licensing on users, but we are licensing on queues. So for example, if you have a reception, sales and support, you need 3 queues. And we have 3 levels: a basic, business and enterprise. And depending on the subscription you have AI or you don't have AI. So for AI you obviously need to have the enterprise edition. And there is just one price, and it's all the functionality, it's only limited to queues. So if you have 3 queues, you buy them in an enterprise form, you can use everything. Because we wanted to lower that barrier. We really want to see people use that technology in their advantage.
If I'd purchased that for my core queues, I'd really be wanting to implement those features as soon as possible to get the best value from it. So it's not costing me anything, and it may be 6 months before I really start to utilize it. So you have a way of pricing slowly into that, or is it one price per queue?
It's one price.
So it's a simplified pricing mechanism, but therefore I'll be rushing to get the value in, not starting small.
No, you can also start with a smaller subscription and then upsell
and then build
to
on with functionality.
Okay,
so
that's you can start by migrating as is from your current contact center application towards Roger365, and then start building onto those features and moving perhaps to a large enterprise subscription. But I think that's the queue-based model is also because you don't want to leave out people in your company. You don't want to say, okay, you get a great tool that assists you in customer contact, but you don't have enough customer contact, so you won't get it.
No, I understand. We deal with a lot of collaboration stuff around the SharePoint and the MS Teams side, and we know that adoption is one of those key things. I also do manage queues in my organization. I actually outsource management of those queues, but we have those queues done, and we do find adoption is still unchanged within these queues because they're quite intense. Calls come in, we want you to do this. They have a very prescribed way forward. So how do you deal with adoption of these new sort of functionalities and new technologies?
Normally, this is something that we would we encourage our partners to really build a change and adoption management practice, and offer that to customers to improve to deliver in customer a continuous improvement cycle. Let's say so. On the other hand, we see that some partners are better than others, and we see that we can help the ecosystem that we have built with our worldwide partners, and so I think at the end of the year we first prioritized now the growth of sales in the different countries, but at the end of the year we will start with customer success cycles and offering models to our partners which they can use to deliver continuous improvement to their end customers. For our part is obviously to avoid churn and to really let them use the full scale and have the maximum ROI of what they are paying, but also to help these partners to get into that to that space.
Cool. So you have a partner organization to make that move. Cool. Final question.
You help people you help your partners help their customers.
I think we see a bit of a difference. If you have the modern work partner, they are more used to that type of service. But if we are looking at the more traditional telecom partner who's now reselling Teams, he doesn't understand that. He doesn't have that yet.
So we have to help them within that industry. So hey, you sit down, you do this, and you get on to your job.
And I think the UI also has a big impact on that. It should be clean, easy to understand, even after an adoption project.
And it used to be really easy, you would go, hello, and that was it.
And it also solves a problem. Just yesterday evening we were talking to a partner and they still do a lot of Avaya, and there's nothing bad with Avaya, but I said, okay, why aren't you moving more to the Teams and the other types of solutions? He says, it's also a margin discussion from our business model. But he is not seeing consultancy in front, so they make free offers to customers, then they get the offer signed, they implement it, and they don't have customer success. They don't build integrations like custom Power BIs, Power App Flows.
So you had a business conversation with him. Let me tell you how to run your business. I get that.
Well, we try to give them tips and help each other.
Yeah, all right.
Of
So,
course, support your partners.
Yeah.
one last question, important for all the attendees running around here. What's the swag situation at your stand?
Yeah, what's the Roger365 swag?
I think it's really busy.
Do we have
It's,
not the
yeah,
customers?
it's
What you're giving
informal.
away?
Informal, but great conversations, lots
Yeah.
of demos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What are you giving away?
Tony
chocolate.
Chocolonely.
Tony Chocolonely.
Chocolate.
Oh, what
Go
a
to
bit.
G3.
Dutch.
Yes.
G3.
Which is, it's actually
We're
made
missing,
in Belgium.
we're missing
but-
your swag on our table.
I will-
there,
Yeah,
guys.
we'll bring it.
Yeah,
we'll bring it in a
we need
minute.
that. Yeah. Just so that it's on the future videos. We won't eat it till tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. Just keep it cool, because otherwise it will melt.
It
That
will
is
it will
true.
flow away.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we'd have to eat it before it melts.
We might have to eat it first. Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
cool. Well done, guys, and thank you very much for joining
Thanks for
us.
having us.
Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank
what
you for
stand
having
are you
us.
on?
It's G3.
G3.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good one.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Catch up with you later.
See you next year.
Thanks.
Have a good
Bye-bye.
conference.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So how different is this for you?
How do you mean?
Well, I remember last year we talked about the analytics being a new killing, and I'm not trying to sort of tell people you weren't getting it, but it's just the whole voice thing within Teams is there, but it's not something you do
It's
with every day.
it's still a bit of an unknown world to me.
Yeah.
And so I mean, you as an infrastructure director.
She's not speaking.
Okay, she's just.
Oh,
giving
she's
us
just
some
bringing
sweet
swag.
Swag's good.
Awesome.
We lost the speaker actually.
Have
He
we?
went off.
Oh, we got some golden tickets. Awesome.
Some golden tickets. Is that for whiskey tasting? I wish. Actually, if you do like whiskey, we will be doing a tasting here about 5 o'clock towards the end. That's tempting, isn't it? There you go.
Ah.
Good.
Awesome.
So Sips Energy have disappeared.
There we go.
Oh no, it's here. Okay, cool.
Hello.
Yes, I was looking at the domain name rather than anything else. So, hi Ewan, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah.
You can hear?
I can hear you.
All right.
All
We
right,
need
good.
you to come really close to the microphone.
Yeah, can you get better?
Because otherwise we can't hear you.
Okay.
So we need you really close. You can like modify that.
Maybe a bit taller.
So he was walking. So the food is just out.
There we
So
go.
everybody wants food.
Oh, food's out. Okay, cool. All right. So first question: Is it mandatory for ladies at your company to be blondes? Might be very inappropriate. But that's funny because they can't hear us
it
probably,
seems-
so we're all laughing, but they have no clue what we're
It
saying.
seems so, and also I didn't get the memo about the cricket kind of bowling wear and stuff.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got told off this morning when I turned up all in blue. So
They told you off.
All right. So
Oh right, thank you very much for telling me to stand in front of the microphone.
good.
I remember that.
by the way, if you got some questions written down, I didn't write them. The marketing girls did. So I'm now thinking, what have they told me to
Oh
speak about?
really? So the one about your first kiss was not relevant, and the
Then
one
something about what amount of bit rate you got going. No.
yeah, and yeah, no, none of those are yours then.
They've asked me about how my speaking session went this morning, so I can tell you about.
Oh, you
that.
did a session this
I
morning.
did a session this
Awesome.
morning.
How was it?
Certainly
The, demo, the
excited.
curse of the demo gods. I got it all
Oh,
completely
excellent.
prepared. Said, look, it is a bit risky, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Literally got to our portal, went to sign in, pressed the button.
Yeah, step forward a bit.
Oh
thank
no.
you.
Literally, I think the internet had gone down, or maybe there was an issue with the dongles, so it was kind of 5 minutes of literally squirming, trying to make things work in front of like 30 or 40 people.
Oh,
And then the rest of
boy.
it thinking, right, I've got like 10 minutes left. How much can I get done? So it's like,
Oh
sort of
dear.
raced through all the content. But I got there, but yeah, I must admit, the curse of the demo gods hit this
Mm.
morning.
How often do you get to speak?
How often? Not well, it depends. In terms of audiences, maybe like 2-3 times a year.
Yeah, you see, you
I'm
soon
not,
learn.
I'm not a seasoned pro. I've maybe soon learn as to what to avoid.
Yeah, we
It's the
soon learn.
first
When the
time-
demo starts to go wrong, just forget it and
Yeah,
start
yeah.
lecturing and
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
talking and telling
So
stories.
what was the session about?
It was about automating Microsoft Teams. It's basically targeted at MSPs if they've got lots of kind of Teams tenants they're managing on behalf of customers. We have a portal where basically you can kind of add multiple Teams tenants, and we just make it super easy for kind of service providers to go in and kind of standardise policy assignment and just make sure that users get kind of uniform policies and phone numbers from the right ranges, and
So you can actually create some kind of baseline that you can just implement for all the...
so it's so we call them personas. So you kind of sync all your policies in, you kind of create a template, and then that template can be assigned to a user. But we also monitor if there's any sort of policy drifts, if any sort of admin goes in and changes something in Teams Admin Center where one user actually doesn't have the right policy set, so may be able to do stuff that they're not allowed to do. In our portal, it will kind of come up and flag the fact that there's actually a couple of users that don't have the right policy mix, and it will kind of a nice big warning triangle, and you can kind of press a button and it then goes and reapplies the uniform policy set. So you can kind of do that manually.
See, that is brilliant, because well, for me, it's kind of a running joke. I'm doing more of the collaboration side of Teams, so I'm coming from the SharePoint side and chats and building teams and all that. The whole calling stuff is pretty unknown to me. I know the basics of it, and I'm always asking people, like, explain this to me like I'm 5 years old. If I have a company, why would I do that? But I don't even have to ask. You just give me like the full talk, like, and I understand what you're trying to say.
But we also do more than voice, because policies are not just voice. It's meetings, compliance. So you can kind of create these custom templates, and it might be like what meetings you're allowed to do, or what's your whatever diagnostic policy, but that template could be applied to maybe just the users in the USA, but you want to make sure that all of those users have the same experience. So we can kind of lock all that down and control it, and for the larger organizations we can even automate it. So if a new user joins and they've got a certain Entra attribute, and it could be they're based in the USA and they're also in sales, they would be linked to a particular persona that when we sync with Entra every hour, it sees a new user's joined and it goes and gives them that persona. So it's all about standardization and saving all of the admin's time, really, and also cutting out the errors, which, if you think of all the support tickets that go back and forth.
I do like the fact that we dive in the conversation directly, but did we introduce Iwan and CallRoute?
Sorry. I'm a bit of a newbie at all this, so I just sort of launched into waffling away, so maybe we need to start at the beginning.
Maybe start with explaining what you guys do and who you are.
Who you are, let's start with that one.
Yeah, so I am Ewan Haig. I am CEO of a company called SIP Synergy, which you won't see the branding here, but CallRoute is a service offering of SIP Synergy. And SIP Synergy years ago used to be all about Cisco voice and blah, 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 blah. Obviously Teams came along and kind of dropped a little bit of a few mines in that direction. So we pivoted the business towards Microsoft. And previously I used to be with Audio Codes, so I ran Audio Codes in the UK. So I kind of took all that Microsoft experience from there. And in 2021 when I joined, I set about turning kind of a Cisco business into more of a Microsoft voice practice. And we were initially kind of a direct routing as a service kind of cloud, if you like, a global cloud, but that business is very congested. So we kind of took our service and made it applicable if people buy Operator Connect from Gamma or BT. We've now got the ability to kind of add value to those deployments, as opposed to previously people had to take phone numbers and minutes and everything from us, which is great, but the market in that space is so fiercely competitive.
Yes, it is.
We had to kind of diversify and.
Of course. Nice.
It's funny that you're now so we had the people from Gamma on as the first people in the day. I never heard of Gamma, and after that you're now the third person that mentions Gamma, and I'm like, oh, everyone knows Gamma. I'm just late to the party.
In the UK,
again,
they're just everywhere in the UK. They've got a massive product offering, but equally they own the channel. In the UK, the route to market is generally through channel partners. Yeah. And Gamma have probably got the strongest partner. I mean, it's one that we could only just if we had 3% of it, it'd be a dream,
You'd be able to have a different kind of shirt and not get told off when you turn up.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's a great question. I know you've not seen this question, but I really quite like this one. So, the state of Microsoft Teams number management: how to swap the horror stories for easy hacks.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay. I mean, if you think of years ago,
your policy creations, but yeah.
Years ago, enterprises had tens of thousands of numbers because they had loads and loads of users. It's now a case that users necessarily don't need phone numbers, but they're like, what do we do with this massive inventory? So you can kind of put it into our portal, and rather than it just being a spreadsheet exercise, it kind of gives you the clarity around, okay, here are my number ranges, here's the utilization. Here's the actual, if we give someone a phone number, how much is that phone number actually being used? are we spending money on something that users don't need? And it's not just the money they spend with us, it's the money they say spend with Microsoft and all the Microsoft licensing. So we kind of bring a bit of order to that chaos, and we just get people using us purely to load the numbers in, see the associated traffic, and then actually start stripping people of numbers and giving numbers back to the wholesalers, because numbers typically, if you're like buying from Gamma, it might cost you £1 per phone number per month. If you got thousands of them.
No, I agree. I mean,
So
when we changed over to Teams, we reduced down the numbers that were available, and we started really doing the normal stuff. So hey, are you using it or you're not, and tracking it. But it's not something we have built into our normal processes. So on the list. But yeah, we trust
we see a lot of customers wanting to take phone numbers away. It's not great for us as a business. We want people to like utilise it more. But look, let's be honest. The utilisation of the PSTN is only going to go one way.
Correct. Yeah.
It'll never completely bottom out. But if they don't need to give someone a phone number, bottom line is the viewers take it off until they kind of scream and say, "I want it back."
But I guess you add additional value into that then by replacing it with something. Because you're just not a number business.
No.
It's a service and an application business.
Yeah, so there's yes and no. Yes and no.
Oh, okay. He's not going to say. New ideas are forthcoming. New ideas. So how do you master this Teams phone? Is it just a series of tools, as you say? We can give you feedback on every number, every user,
our view is
recommendations.
Teams Admin Center is a bit of a bowl of spaghetti under the bonnet. I'd like to think we can take what's technically complicated, and if you can use an iPhone, because it's so intuitive, you can use our portal. And that's really the idea, it's like de-techifying.
And people with Android phones, can they do it as well?
Ultimately.
Yeah, because we're smarter than iPhone users. Yeah.
In fairness, I could actually, I don't know, I can't share my screen or anything, but if I got my iPhone out, I could actually just load our portal onto our phone, and I could actually create a rule to basically give like people policies and teams and phone numbers and all. I can do it all from my mobile phone. It is that.
That's really cool for people like me who work in tech, don't have any affinity with call and setup of that, and then I can just go to that portal and just set it up.
Most of these are Entra groups, though, and Entra policies, I'm guessing. Teams policies. So they're all the stuff that you've sort of, like when you set teams up for people and you go in and work out what they need. A lot of it is automating a lot of the existing stuff, I'm guessing, but in a way that is voice focused.
See, generally, like the groundwork's been done. You built your templates and all that sort of stuff. It's just like, say somebody joins and actually the IT admin's on the go. You could say, as someone joined in the USA, if I want to manually give him a phone number in the policies, you just go in, find a user, find the persona, USA sales, assign it to the user, and it will just give him everything he needs. And you can just do it from your mobile phone versus find your laptop, log into Teams Admin Center. And if you're not paying for like Teams Premium, that you can get all your custom policy packs, but that's expensive. We could pretty much give that away for free.
Nice. It's a bit like RBAC.
Oh, yes.
It's basically RBAC, but in a voice perspective.
Yeah. So it's all like dynamic groups, and like the person falls into a certain persona, and it's automatically dynamic.
Yeah, you give it some meaningful name, just like, I don't know.
Oh yeah, sure.
UK Logistics Factory or something, and then everyone who works in that location will just have a set of policies and such like, and it might be UK Logistics Factory with phone, and they've got a different bundle.
That makes total sense.
That's perfect. Somebody's leading on it, which is nice. Otherwise, somebody has to sit and think about it and try and work it all out. So you've got the tools to do that. So it talks about here, voice at scale, why your team's management could manage itself using automation. I guess that's the vision, is that you automate as much as possible.
Generally speaking, the larger the enterprise, the more pain they've got, especially if it's a global company. So bringing order to that, defining your templates, but then actually the automation comes in. Okay, well if the end users can kind of have a clean intro in the sense of actually the job title makes sense, the actual country is right, whatever it is, you can build rules that somebody joins and you update Entra, and then everything else flows. But if they don't want to use Entra, we've also got APIs that link with like ServiceNow and the ITSM platforms, so the workflow that exists to kind of give someone a laptop or, I don't know, whatever it is when they start, that can then fire an event to us to say, actually, this guy's in sales and he needs a phone number and he needs this in Microsoft Teams, so we can then do all the provisioning based on what comes out of the ITSM platform.
Yeah. So are you basically going towards being an automation company?
We started off as a voice company. I'd say both. I don't know where we'll end up, to be honest.
No, that's what I was just thinking.
I don't know.
You have a vision as to where it's going to be?
I spoke to Tom Arbuthnot and he said, you guys are probably just going to become a provisioning company.
Possibly.
But
at a different level, across the whole spectrum of sort of Entra and RBAC and not just about voice.
And we've just launched the RBAC stuff where, IT admins just want to be able to log in and only see let's say you work in the UK, you just want to see the guys in the UK. You're not bothered about the users in America or China. Obviously, if they all sit in a single tenant, you can currently. So now we've got the ability, when you log in, you're a UK guy, you only see phone numbers and the users associated with the security groups, if you like, from a CallRoute standpoint that they're associated with.
Yeah.
So it's kind of chopping everything up, and so we do quite a bit of that. That's quite new.
No, neat. Well, we're getting close to the end of our hour, so there's another really good question. So, finding the gold, how Microsoft partners can unlock $500,000 in revenue. Yeah. So that's the one Moraine's been waiting for. He's always looking for a new idea. How can we unlock $500,000 in revenue?
And we send you a free scratch card.
It does say CRAN, you're right, it's not certain.
I asked our marketing people, I said, where did that come from? And apparently it's a blog that was written by one of our people. And I think it's all to do with, like, if you're having to log tickets, new people join, people leave, you're creating tickets. I think, someone came up with a number, it costs like $40 a ticket to process a ticket, and if you can automate all that and you've got, do the maths, how many thousand users have you got churning, and out pops a number which is probably
neat.
But speaking of finding the gold, you brought some golden tickets with you.
Yeah. Is there cameras?
Yes.
Yeah, we've got loads of cameras.
We've actually got one right in front of you now.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So in true Willy Wonka chocolate kind of factory stuff, it's basically got a QR code on the back, because our solution is pure SaaS. It's free to try, so there's a little QR code. If you want to try the service for 30 days, it just takes you to a web link, and
we're on then, pointed at the camera in front of you. So we get a nice, keep going a bit nearer. And I can tell you what, wait there, we'll do some techie stuff here.
All right.
To your point about us, are we an automation company? Yes, we are, but equally our heritage is voice. So we also give you a free UK phone number, we give you free minutes, so if you want to play around and actually do Teams voice as well as all the automation stuff, you can kind of do both. So it's all free to try. And
excellent, I like that.
That's pretty cool, yeah. So for me, there's like one question left for all the attendees here. What's the swag situation next to the golden tickets?
So this is the swag situation.
Nice. The proverbial.
Are they called chili water bottles or something?
They are, yes.
So
they're very wanted. I had to take. We end up collecting a lot of them because we do a lot of these things. But my team were going, oh, my water bottle's cracked.
Yeah. So these are really good in the sense of they're pretty indestructible. But the best thing about them is when we bought them, for every bottle you buy, I'm told that the company who sold us the bottles plant a tree. So it's all about sustainability.
Nice.
That's nice.
So we have all that stuff on our website. We can talk about what we do for the environment. So apparently buying these things is helping saving the planet.
Nice, I like.
There you go.
Well, thank you very much. I particularly like your name, being a big whiskey guy. So Scottish Hague, all good stuff.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There we go. More voice stuff, but actually quite interesting.
Excellent.
Automation stuff. I like
yes.
it. One of my biggest problems in my network is that
the number management. I thought I couldn't remember what to say. I was like yes and no, so I couldn't really remember. I was like, the question, what's he mean? I don't know.
That's all right. All part of the fun. All part of the fun.
There we go. Thanks, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Leave that one on the table.
Yeah, so we often end up with tens of thousands of licenses. because we don't have that automation.
Oh, you
so
got it.
there's a
Oh,
lot
they've
of stuff
taken
you can
mine.
save.
Ah.
So there you go. Yes, we take them and spread them out
If
so
you want
everybody
one,
gets to
just
see.
pop by our stand. And
We will. Thanks ever so much. All right, we're done on another episode here at Comsverse 2025. I guess we'll say bye to the camera.
Time
and
to
the
get
people.
lunch.
Yes,
Yes.
we're going to get some food. We'll back with you this afternoon. Ciao.